What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today to talk about a very simple question that I see asked a lot in Facebook groups, social media, the Twitter sphere, whatever. How many times, and maybe you've asked this yourself, and I mean no offense, how many times have we heard or seen posted? I see this a lot on Facebook, so maybe that's just a Facebook thing. How are card prices supposed to go up if everybody wants to pay 80% of comps, or insert whatever percentage lower than 100% that you want here? I see that question at least twice a week somewhere in a Facebook group or Twitter or whatever. I don't know if you've all seen it. Maybe I'm in my own little bubble here, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it today because it ties in with something that happened this past week as a perfect example of this. And to a degree, they're a little right. Something has to occur for card prices to go up. Not that shocking. But the general statement of everyone just wants to pay 80% of comps, why won't card prices ever go up? Because demand has to change. It's that simple. It's not a hard concept. And the example that I had from earlier this week, which is a very easy one, is Mr. Ohtani. Demand shifted in the matter of an evening because of the World Baseball Classic game and him striking out Trout and the whole 9 yards. That's how prices shift. It's not rocket science. I don't know why people keep asking this question over and over again. If a card sells for $100 all day long on eBay and people want to pay 80% at $80 and nothing changes with that player or card over time, for whatever reason, maybe it's just in a static little bubble, guess what? That card price probably isn't going to go up. Card prices just don't go up all magically and mystically. If something's regularly selling for $100 and it's semi-readily available, we're not talking about the ultra rare stuff here, but just like PSA 10 refractors, silver prisms, whatever. And they're relatively available. You could wait out an auction. There's no massive shift in demand that you have to own one very much right now because you are infected with FOMO. Then yeah, prices aren't going to move on that card. They're going to stay about the same, give or take, probably 10% plus or minus. But every once in a while, something happens to spark demand for that player, card, collectible, whatever the case might be, whether it's sports cards, comics, non-sports, whatever. The Ohtani example is a perfect one. I pulled this up on Terapeak, which is an eBay tool. This is the sold transaction data. So I don't care about how much stuff sold for. I'm looking at volume. For my search filter, it was 2018 Ohtani PSA 10. Here's what it has done so far this week. These numbers are pulled weekly, I believe. So you could see last week where it was at. And this week is already well over last week. And we're only on Friday. We still have a few more days to go. They started this listing on 3/20, so Monday. So we still have Thursday's data, which because I'm recording this Thursday evening, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Maybe I'll pull this up again on the Sunday video. So this is probably going to spike all the way to the moon. The last time we've seen demand spike like this was back during the 2021 Home Run Derby when him and I believe it was Soto had a massive swing off. He was absolutely fantastic that night in the Home Run Derby. One of the best Home Run Derbies we've had in a while. And his sales volume around that time was absolutely wild. And then we're seeing it again this week with WBC. It actually been creeping up for a while with the beginning of baseball season and WBC hype. You can see over the winter months, it pretty consistently sat at around the same number of cards sold. And once again, we're swinging with a wide berth here with all the different, just a very generic search term. But you definitely see it tick up as we move into season, as the hype begins to build. That demand shift, more people want his stuff because he did cool things on the TV, will cause your prices to go up. That's how comps move. I know this is probably child's play for a lot of you out there, but this question just seems to come up all the time on the social sphere. So I figured it was at least worth discussing. And once again, kind of an interesting week in the Ohtani world. This ties into what really shifts comps is actually FOMO. The FOMO stuff for Ohtani, which fear of missing out for those that are not aware, is one hell of a drug. FOMO gets in us, and man, oh man, you better have safeguards in check, or you're going to wake up the next day going, what the hell did I do to my eBay purchase history? I have been there. I have fallen victim to it. I have stopped myself from falling victim to it. My general trick is shut the laptop and run away. Or put the computer down, put the iPhone down and run away. Force close the app and just throw the phone across the room for 15 minutes. And let yourself chill out. I'm not going to lie. I don't own any Ohtani cards right now. I was looking all over eBay the other night when I was watching the WBC. And then I said, you know what? This is a stupid time to buy. It got amplified because at the Philly show, I posted about this in the community tab, and now it feels even worse. I've always really liked his 2018 update rookie debut. It's one of those few cards with him batting as in a rookie card. PSA 10 pink refractor. Someone had it for $300. Extremely fair price. He said he was firm on it, and I don't blame him. The comps were right around there, and Ohtani stuff was pretty hot. I thought about it. I walked away from the table, thought about it some more, and said, you want the card. It's a nice card. Just go pull the trigger on it. It's $300. What are we really doing here? I went back like an hour or two later, and of course it was gone. Someone else grabbed it up. This was on Saturday, I think. Then late last week into the weekend, I think it was when I posted about it, that card was going for $380. Okay, cool. All right. I missed out. Now I see at time of recording on Thursday night, maybe I'll post about this on Friday. There's one running on auction now. It's at like $425, $450, $460. I don't remember. Way more than what it was, what I could have got it for at the Philly show. So that really was kicking in the FOMO drive of like, oh, you idiot, you could have had a piece of this action and you passed up on it like a dummy and then missed your shot. And that was feeding into the FOMO machine of me not having any of his stuff and then scouring the internet trying to find a deal on something. And then very quickly, you know it when you see it, you know it when you're working through it, when you're just like, oh no, I need this. I have to have this. And it's not something that's like been on your want list or whatever. It's just your body gets taken over with the FOMO. And I realized what was going on, and I said, I need to step back. And that's what, I made the post, and I was just like, nope, we're not, no FOMO today. Set all the devices down and took a lap and then came back and resumed business. But that is honestly what shifts demand. That is what's going to cause your card prices to go up. Something has to happen to shift demand. If demand stays static, prices aren't going to move just because you want to will it that way. Because you think people should pay over what the card basically sells for. Now, this is a completely different story when you're talking about rare stuff or things that don't come to market very often. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your normal, relatively everyday cards. If it's a 101, a 1 of 5, another one that I talked about this week, the Pedro Pascal auto that I have, those do not come up very often. Especially at semi-reasonable prices. They're still on eBay, but they're listed extremely high. Someone put one up about a week ago at $4,500 for an out of 40, same exact one that I have. That is an extremely high price. They let it sit for a week. They reposted it at $3,500 right after the Last of Us season finale. Someone best offered it at $3,200. I bought mine over a year ago now for like $1,700, and mine's a green out of 20. So, was it the Last of Us thing and the Mandalorian being back? Did they just time the market well? Who knows? But someone, I don't want to say that I don't know if the buyer FOMO'd into that. Maybe they've been wanting one forever. It's kind of one of those grail cards for a lot of Star Wars collectors. But something like that doesn't come to market very often. That's a little bit of a different story. PSA 10 refractors, silvers, even autos in some cases, stuff that transacts on a fairly regular basis. That stuff is just not going to shift prices at the drop of a hat. Or I'm sorry, just because you want it to. It could shift at a drop of a hat if player, thing, whatever it is, goes out and does something extraordinary. Or have a great moment like Ohtani striking out Trout the other night. It is funny. I don't want to get into specific prices really, but I did notice on it's always, and this is how you can really tell that FOMO is really feeding the market. So let's just say random Ohtani PSA 10 is going for $400. The night of when the event happened, when he struck out Trout, those cards were jumping to 500, 550. And then the next day when you look, everyone rushed to list theirs on eBay, and there's already bins cheaper than what they were selling for the night before. So it was like a $400 card before the game, a $500 to $600 card right after the game, and then literally the next morning, it didn't go back down to 400. It was at like 450, 460, 470. So all that was within a 12-hour period. Because, like I said, I looked the next day. I don't remember the specific refractor. It was one of his Topps Chrome refractors. I don't remember if it was his base or the Prism or one of the other rainbow swirly disco bally ones. But it was just funny watching that kind of play itself out in real time. It's stuff that we talk about all the time. But that's all I got to add for you guys and girls today. How are cards ever going to go up in price if anyone's ever just willing to pay 80% of current comps? Easy answer. Demand changes. Simple as that. It's really not that complicated. On top of that, bonus lesson from this episode, don't fall victim to FOMO. Wait 24 hours. Unless it's a super rare card, it's probably still going to be there for you. Probably cheaper than what you would have FOMO'd into it for. That's all I got for you boys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.